Hey everybody, welcome to episode 36. I just got back, this time, I just got back from my vacation. This should be dropping on a Monday, however this is actually a Sunday when I'm recording this. I just got back from the vacation and it was fun. I'm definitely glad to be back. Definitely glad to only take a vacation once a year. I'm not going to get into all my vacation extravaganza or whatever, but it was fun. We do this every year. I take my son with my sister and we go somewhere in Michigan. Usually try to get on the water somewhere on one of the coasts. This time in particular we went over to, we stayed in Holland, Michigan. It's on the west side of the state, and we were on the right on the beach there at Ottawa Beach and on Lake Michigan. We went down to Sagatuck. We went through Grand Rapids. First time I've ever been to Grand Rapids. Never been to Grand Rapids before in my life. That was kind of interesting. But again, this is not my vacation vlog or whatever. But I'm back this time for real. I know the last couple of videos I probably are going to post. I'm going to post one Monday, which I recorded last week sometime. But anyways, so it was before I went. So anyways, I'm back. Today on this episode, I'm going to just talk to a couple of just maybe do some housekeeping because some things happened over the time I was gone as far as things coming out. I picked up a couple of, or at least picked up, I know, one thing. And I also found something too. So let's kick this off because this last episode I should be dropping. So episode 35, I believe, was about Tron. And so I just wanted to kick off. In that episode, I was talking about the soundtrack that I may or may not still have on CD. I couldn't find it. I can't find my CDs in my apartment. I don't think I got rid of them. I think they're just sitting in some goofy spot. Anyways, and it's just a few handful of CDs anyways. I did get rid of most of my CDs. But I found, I was talking about getting the soundtrack for Tron on LP, on vinyl, and I wasn't sure, I didn't really go too hard looking for it by the time that video was out. So after that I did go on, and I went on Amazon, and they do have a reissue of it. It was reissued in 2021, and I have it right here. And so it was on Amazon. I ordered it. It was funny because I ordered it and they gave me the option to choose my date to have it delivered because I didn't want it to be sitting out in front of my door at my apartment building while I was gone on vacation. I wasn't really concerned with people stealing it. I was more concerned about the elements. Records are pretty finicky. Even though they probably wrapped it pretty well, which they did. I didn't want it sitting out there, if it got real hot and humid and then got real cold. I didn't want it to warp the disc or do any issues. I also didn't want it to pour down rain. The rain sometimes, I have an open air breezeway for my hallway, and it's not closed. So most of the time it stays pretty dry down there, but if it rains really hard and it blows sideways, the water can get down, into there. So I didn't want the box to get drenched. However, even though I picked the day to come back, the day I was back, they sent me a nice little message while I was on my vacation saying, "Oh yeah, hey, we got it to you sooner." Of course you did. The whole point was to get it specifically delivered on a certain day, which was way after the 2-day Amazon Prime, but apparently that doesn't mean anything. So they shipped it and it sat there overnight once. Again, nothing wrong with it. I got it. The box was fine. Nobody stole it. I took it inside. I looked into it. It was wrapped pretty well. It was wrapped in an outer box, then an inner box, and then of course it had the shrink wrapping on it. So I did open up the shrink wrapping, and I've got it in a protective sleeve at the moment. But yeah, this was put out in 2021, so it's very recent. And it's a great soundtrack. I really like it. If you've watched the movie Tron, you'll know the soundtrack. Music by Wendy Carlos. I know she's done other stuff, and nothing comes to mind at the top of my head. I'm not a huge movie buff. I mean, I am a kind of, sort of, but I'm not like one of those people who knows like every composer and every director and everything. It's like if things stick in my head as I come across them organically, that's fine. But I don't go out of my way to try to memorize all this stuff. And I got a shitty memory, so that doesn't help either. But actually, I've got a laser beam memory, but there's certain holes in my memory that fall apart. But basically, things just don't really concern me. I don't remember. That's what it comes down to. And knowing how many other soundtracks Wendy Carlos doesn't really concern me very much. But this is a great soundtrack, and the opening song on it, Only Solution by, I think I called it in the last video, Absolute Solution. It's Only Solution's the name of the song, by Journey, which is a great song. It was written specifically for the soundtrack. It's not in any of the Journey albums. So if you're a Journey completist, you might want this. Yeah, I mean, it's an okay song. I mean, it's pretty good. I like the song. It's not terrible. It's got a very cool feel. It feels very Tron-y. I really wish they would have used Separate Ways like they did. Excuse me. In the second movie. Alrighty. Yeah, see, Vacation didn't do anything. I still get sleepy in the afternoon. The Vacation, or sorry, where was I? The Journey song. I wish it was Separate Ways, like it wasn't. They had it in the second movie, in Legacy, which is funny. Yeah, it was fine. I liked it there too. Kind of, he walks into the Flynn's son walks into the arcade. Spoiler alerts. Flynn's son walks into the arcade. His dad's old arcade, Flynn's arcade, and he goes into, I think, the basement, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember. I haven't seen it in a while. Or he finds the device in the basement, but I think he just walks into the arcade and he throws the switch. And all the power comes on, and all the games come on, and they start playing Separate Ways, which is very cool. What's cool to me, I don't know if it's cool to anybody else, but I think it's pretty cool. So, that's not the song on this album, it's the Only Solution, and I believe the only time it shows up in the movie is while they're in the... I think it does show up while they're in the arcade. I mean, I showed the video last time, watched that again, I'm pretty sure that's when, I think they're playing it in the background at the arcade. I know it shows up in the main credits at the end, but I think it's in the arcade scene. And I think that's why they did it in the second movie. They put these Separate Ways. But yeah, so I got the album. I haven't listened to it yet. It's a reissue. God, I cannot stop yawning. It's probably making everybody else yawn. It's a reissue. Now, one thing I noticed about the reissues, I gotta start packing the stuff in its sleeves differently. I'm watching some videos. There's people who take, for one thing, they say to take the inner sleeve out of the jacket and just store it in the back. Don't keep it in there if you're storing it, because that's what creates those rings. I mean, that and laying them flat creates those rings. But they said the other thing to do is also not keep it in there. It helps prevent those rings. So, and I might even pull it out of the jacket here. What a lot of the audiophiles are doing, not to say I'm becoming an audiophile, but I guess I'm unintentionally becoming an audiophile. How I say that, audiophile. But anyways, because I just like to learn about stuff. So it's just my nature of learning about things, and when I get into anything, I get really into it. I try to limit how many things I get into, because when I get into it, I get really into it. And obviously there's only so much time in the day, and only so much storage capacity up here in the melon, so I try not to get too far into it. But yeah, so they say to store the disc in a archival sleeve, inner sleeve, which is not as anti-static, because static is what picks up the dust. And then they also said to put the inner sleeve back. I mean, unless you want to keep pulling it out, put it back in the jacket, and then put the jacket in an outer sleeve, and then slip the disc in after it in the inner sleeve. And then the way they say to slip it in there is so if you still want to get it out, you can still pull it out, so you don't have to open the jacket, pull it out of its sleeve, you know, and keep damaging the stuff. Because, I mean, already, this is a brand new disc. It already has a slit here just from rolling around. And I also noticed that the jacket itself has a little, let me set the disc down here. The jacket here has a little crease, little split in the black there, right there, which is kind of weird. It's brand new. I mean, it's, you know, it's 2 years old, and I got it brand new from Amazon, and it came pretty well packed. So I think it's just, these things are so, you look at these things wrong and things go haywire. So back on the disc now, you probably can't see this, and this isn't really a good way to tell you guys, but I don't know if you're into vinyl or anybody's into vinyl, but older vinyl is thinner than the new vinyl. And I did look it up, and they did say that they're using 180 grams of vinyl for new records, as opposed to, I don't know how much the specific amount was, but they are thinner of classic vinyl. And one of the reasons they did that back in the past was to cut costs because of the oil embargo in the 70s. And the whole thing happened with the oil shortage in the 70s. So they wanted to, and obviously oil is how you make vinyl. So they wanted to limit the amount of vinyl, so they were cutting back on the production of it. Well, of course, nowadays, even though everything's in short demand and everything is, killing the planet, they still don't have any issue. You can hear the sarcasm in my voice. They don't have any issue charging a premium for everything and completely undermining that logic. So this is a thick disc, and it's made with a lot of oil. So the whole purpose, apparently, and it makes sense, is to keep it from warping. So the logic is the thicker the disc, the more flat it's going to lay on the platter, and the less it's going to warp, less it's going to skip, or have pop, or have other issues. I did order a cleaning kit to clean all my discs, and one of the things that comes in there is an electrostatic brush. That, like I said, I've never played this yet. I just took it out of the thing not that long ago, and this is the first time I'm actually looking at the disc heavily. I think that's always cool. They put the label on there too, but it already needs to be discs. They say to run that brush every time you play your albums, and I probably will. I'll keep it there at the kit. Keep everything close to it. So, yeah, it's a thicker disc. Side 2, yeah, it's pretty much, it starts out with Only Solution, performed by Journey, and then it just kicks right into the soundtrack. It also has the 1990s theme on here, performed by Journey. Interesting. It's a track 11. That's interesting. I've never heard that before. It wasn't on the CD, so that'll be new. It seems to be longer, and I've got a point to talk about that when I come. I'm going to mention also, while I'm on the subject, about the Transformers, the movie soundtrack. Let me get this back in here. Again, if any audiophiles see, I'm holding it by the paper and the edge. I'm not touching the disc. Like I said, there's a certain point where, people get a little excessive with that stuff. I mean, obviously, just take care of your stuff. Be as mindful as you can with your stuff. I mean, if you're a toy collector, you know the score. If you're a comic book collector, you know the score. Same thing with this stuff. But people who get really uptight about it, just like, I've got other things to worry about in my life. And how well I handle my vinyl discs is only a fraction, a very minuscule fraction of things I'm worried about. So I covered up the back. It's just got the credits and stuff. Nothing really spectacular. But yeah, I've got it now. So I've got it for my disc collection. I'll eventually listen to it. Going through all my discs, I go through my discs, in alphabetical order, systematically, because I'm anal retentive, of course, and OCD. But the other reason why is to I want to check and see if there's any issues. I'm going to start labeling my discs with like a green, yellow, and a red sticker, so I can say like, oh, this one's perfect, or this one has no skips, or it plays fine. This one's got a couple of things here and there. and then I'll put like a red sticker on ones that are trash that, you know, I'm probably try to replace. I counted my records yesterday. I've only got 30 records currently, so my collection's not huge, but I'm in the process of putting it back together, because like I said, all my Rush albums I had I've already had all the Yes albums. I had some of the, not all of them, but some of the Blue Oyster Cult albums. I've had a lot of albums that I've already had on vinyl. Some Cheap Trick albums I had on vinyl. But let me flip over here, and I'm going to go into this real quick, just to talk about it. Now, first I'm going to mention this. Okay, so on Amazon as well, as you can see here, they do have the Transformers the movie soundtrack, and this is a reissue. I don't know what the date was. It was reissued. I didn't go into the details. And it is available as a double vinyl on, and it's currently not available. The audio CD, they want $152. So this is a very sought after album. I mean, it's a great sound. It's what probably one of the main reasons why people love Transformers the movie, the 1986 movie. It's the soundtrack alone. Stan Bush, We Got the Touch. Dare to Be Stupid. That's the other song, Dare Never Leave. Yeah. And then there's Dare to Be Stupid. Okay, whatever. There's Weird Al on there. Exactly. There's a bunch of songs on it. Probably You Got the Touch. It's probably one of the biggest songs on that album. But this is a reissue. And the thing is, I was looking at the track list on the reissue. Maybe it wasn't here. But the reason it's a double disc is because they packed it with all this extra stuff. Just like that disc, how it's got, extra songs that weren't on the original. I gotta say, I hate when they do that. I hate remastered discs with all these extra tracks on it. I don't want extra tracks. I just want the tracks that are originally on the original release of the album. I don't care. I don't care. I mean, the extra weight to the vinyl, that's fine. But I don't want. I don't want. I mean, the cool looking like my Journey Escape has a cool translucent disc. Some of them are colored discs and stuff. That's fine, I guess. I mean, just quit over baking crap just to get extra money out of things. I don't want all this extra bells and whistles. I know there's a lot of people that love their extras and blah blah blah, but not me personally. I like things to be, I'm very, very curmudgeon when it comes to my original stuff. I want things the way they were. I don't like change. I don't like things to change. I like things to be exactly how they were when I remember them. I don't like them to be different. Unless it's a good thing, and then I want to be subjective. I want to be. There's no way anybody could follow my insanity, but no company could follow how insane it is. It's like, yes, don't want change, except I want this to be changed, but only that thing, and you would never know that unless I told you. So, yeah. But again, I don't. My biggest grief with this is it's going to be astronomically priced, and I believe it is because, as I'll show you. I found a site. I was watching some YouTube videos and people on discs or vinyl and audio files, and one of the guys, I believe it was Boomer Consumer, he mentioned this site called Discogs, and so I never heard of it. And I went on it, and I created an account, which also is very, I don't know what it is lately, but all the sites have been creating accounts. They never want to send their authorization codes, like as soon as you tell them to send the authorization code, and then you wait, and you wait. Sometimes a day goes by, and you wait, and then you have to tell them, hey, you didn't send my authorization code, and then they instantly send it. It's like, okay, what's that all about? It's happened like 3 times in the last 6 months. I've probably signed up for maybe 3 places in the last 6 months, and every single time it's happened. I don't know if it's something I'm doing. I never had the problem before, so usually you just sign up for and create an account, and sometimes they send you an authorization code. Usually when they do, you hit the button, it comes, and they'll have a button that'll say, resend it. Well, they didn't have one with this one. It didn't say resend it, so I couldn't. So I finally got my account created. kind of started a wish list, but didn't really go too far into my wish list here. But the thing that's nice about Discogs, and I'll show you here. Let's do Transformers the movie. It's already up there in my thing. Let's go to Transformers the movie. Let's go. You can go to the first one. See, they have in various ones, different ones. I try to look for. I don't really know what I'm looking for right here, but okay. Well, here's a good example. Here's that reissue. It doesn't have a list price. I don't know if it has a list price on it. I'm not seeing one here. But oh, here we go. Okay, sort of, kind of. Let's CD. Okay, let's see. Okay, 2 LPs. It shows you the. Again, it's not showing you the list price, but it does show the last time it was sold. Sold on my birthday, July 19th, 2023. And the lowest it went for was $38. The highest it went for was $59. Or sorry, the median, the highest was $100. Now it is a double. It's a reissue, which is going to be $25 to $30, maybe even $40 to begin with. And then you got to figure it's a double disc on top of it. I know like the wall is like $47.99 or something like that. So you're right off the bat, you know, a double disc, a gatefold is going to cost you, you know, probably $50. So the median's 60. That sounds about right. Again, it's very expensive, and I don't really care to. So I'm running into the same problem I did with the action figures. It's just like things are just getting so astronomically expensive. Now I understand inflation, and I understand a lot of things, but you know, I try. This is my standard rule of thumb. I figure how much did the original cost in the 80s? I don't know. Let's just pick a date, like 1983, 40 years ago. Okay, let's say an album. You go to like Kmart or Camelot Records or something like that, and you bought a LP, you know, a vinyl disc. I think at the time tapes were like $5 or $3-4. You could get a disc for like $7, $8. You know, something $5.99. You know, so let's just say, to make things easy, a gatefold with 2 records was $10, $9.99. Okay, so I 40 years. I know this is not how inflation works either, but the thing is, it just seems that some things kind of work this way. It's about 4 times as much. I think the actual rate is like 219%, including the current, you know, highest inflation, you know, of all time is currently, and it's you know, and that's taking that into account, like 219%. But that's still not 4 times as much. But let's just say, for the benefit of the doubt, you bought a $5 action figure in 1983, 2023, it's $20, which it isn't. It's $25 or $30. So again, with this, right? $40. The album should cost $40. I don't know what it cost. Like I said, I don't see the list price here, but I'm assuming the list price is going to be 40 cents. It's like they just keep nudging everything up, and then they throw all this extra stuff in it that I don't want, you know, just to bring the cost of it. So, you know, companies are very predatory on people, you know, with the FOMO and you know, the fear of missing out, or the you know, just playing on the nostalgia bug, and they assume that all of the people who are buying the stuff, which is pretty much middle-aged dudes, right? And they just assume middle-aged dudes have plenty of you know, discretionary income, or whatever it's called, disposable income. Some do. Some have lots of money. A lot of us don't. So, you know, so if we want to continue these hobbies and stuff, you know, sometimes it prices out our game, which is, I'll get to that later. But yeah, so, you know, so we're looking here. You know, I'm probably not going to buy it. It doesn't even show it's available. It doesn't even give you a link to it being available. Lists. I have the lists. Okay, blah, 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 blah. But anyway, so again, let's go back to Transformers. Actually, let me go through it a different way. Let me go through. I'm just curious on my lists, because it's the only album what did I not sign in? don't I have a list going already? Want list, I guess. Oh yeah, different lists. They have lists on what you've got and stuff like that, whatever. But your want list. So I've got it here. And this is the original. Apparently there is 2 for sale. Again, lowest tier $14. That sounds good. Median $50 for used. That's pretty pricey. And here are the 2 for sale. Except again, one of them, are they both LPs? Both LPs. Very good plus, so they're in good condition. And one's got near mint, the discs in near mint condition. So they break it down to media is the actual physical disc. Sleeve is, I'm assuming, is the outer jacket. And then sometimes they list them, I saw, like with inner sleeve. So, and that says very good. So that's a pretty decent one, but they want 75. They also put on they automatically tack on the shipping, which is fine. So you really are looking at your total price. So with this one, you know, in England, you can get this one up here, or I guess everywhere that has pounds or euros or whatever those things are called. It's not much more. Of course, the euro I think is worth more than, I believe that's euro, or worth more than the dollar. But anyways, regardless, $80 out the door for a very good near mint. That's very pricey. So I'm going to keep searching. I thought, and I haven't checked all of them, but there's some of them I've seen on here because I did a little bit of research when I was putting this into my wish list. But there are other versions of it, and there are some that aren't as expensive. I even think, let's just check Amazon. Transformers soundtrack, because I don't need to put the movie soundtrack. Okay, so here is, this is on vinyl, it says. Again, this one's not available either. The CD, audio CD, I've had this album on cassette, I had it on CD, I had it on a vinyl. I got it from Sam's Jams down in Ferndale back in the late 80s. It was like $1, but you know, now it goes for crazy money. It's not available on vinyl, it shows here, so it's going to keep my eye out for it. I'm also keeping my eye out for it. I went to a really good record store in Clinton Township, in Grand Rapids, right outside of Grand Rapids. It's actually called Grand Valley or Grand Haven. No, everything's Grand out there. Grand Haven's the other resort town. Granville. It's like a little town right outside of the Grand Rapids. There's a place called the Corner Record Store, and they're really good. And they had a sorry, they had a you know, a lot of, I picked up a few records there, and I was looking through their soundtracks and stuff, and there's a lot of soundtracks there. I mean, a lot of ones that seemed like they were, you know, sought after. Not this one. Everybody who knows what this is, they're all out to get these soundtracks. Same thing with the heavy metal, the movie soundtrack, which means I have to do a heavy metal video at some point. The original 1981, I believe it's 81, heavy metal movie. Awesome soundtrack as well. But I had that on various platforms as well. But yeah, trying to track this one down is going to take some time and effort. And you know, it's like you do this so many times in your life where it's like you track down something you already have. It's just like, I don't know why I can't just keep the stuff in the beginning, but moving, you know, your lifestyle changes, things happen, don't happen, you need money, you know, or somebody, whatever. A lot of things happen and you end up, you know, losing a lot of things that you want. So I guess it all regard, like I said, when I acquired any of these, whether it's the CD, whether it was the original record at like for $1 at Sam's Jams, you know, or the cassette, which I think I bought at Harmony House for like $5.97 or something like that. You don't really take them, you know, you kind of take them for granted. I think if you really have to shell out some money and go through a lot of effort to get something, hopefully that's enough to kick you in the head and go, don't get rid of this again. Yeah, so I'm still looking for that. Like I said, and here's the Discogs. I haven't got too deep into Discogs, but I did look. There's a bunch of other albums I'm looking for that are on here for pretty decent prices. And apparently all of the prices that are going on are what they actually going for. It's like fair market value. And for the most part, I think I agree with most of the prices I've seen. I've seen a couple that seem a little outrageous, but most of them seem pretty copacetic with what prices really are. So, you know, the whole thing is the thrill of the hunt, though, too. Going to these record stores and stuff, and a lot of times you can find them, you know, less expensive, and obviously you can find them for deals. I also hit Solo Records on Woodward in Royal Oak, and picked up some good albums there. Didn't find this there, but I did go down to Ferndale. Mark kept mentioning Sam's Jams in Ferndale right back in the 80s. On the other side of the road, there was a record store, and their name escapes me at the moment. Found Sound. I think it was Found Sound. It was there after Sam's Jams closed down. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I can't remember. But regardless, currently there's a record store right down in 9 Mile in Ferndale, which is right where Tora Tuesday was. I don't know if I've done a video on that yet. I still have to do that. But there is a record store there, and they have their discs. They had a lot of stuff in stock, and I know why, because their prices were outrageous. I mean, I think most of their reissues were about a couple of dollars more than what you get on Amazon. Some of them were a lot more than you can get on Amazon. Their vintage stuff, oh my lord, it was out of this world, and it didn't seem like it was in that great a condition. You know, I don't care how many bags and how many things you sleeve the stuff up. I mean, when at the end of the day you pull that stuff out and look at it, how does it look and does it play? And for me, there's 3 criteria for a record. I know I'm going record heavy, and this channel might take a turn because my hobbies right now are sort of shifting. Keep doing that. But I look at, first of all, does the record play, right? Does it skip, or is it a junk record? And B, is the jacket indecent? Because they have, you know, porridge all over it, you know, or does it have water damage, or is it bent, or is it creased, or does it get rips and tears all over it? And C, does it have the inner sleeve? If it comes with an inner sleeve, I want the inner sleeve, because especially if it has lyrics on it, I like that. If it meets those three criteria, I'm fine on the album, you know. And then obviously the 4th criteria is how much am I going to pay for this thing. So I guess I'll stop talking about records and stuff for now. I'll pivot here. But yeah, if you're into records and you like vinyl, like I said, this channel might go heavy that direction because I'm really getting into it again. Discogs is a great site. What's the other thing I want to pull up? Let's do some more finds real quick. How much time we got? Yeah, we're good on time. I was in my mom's basement, and I was trying to find some. Records that I had, some old tapes and CDs, which I found 1 CD and a couple of tapes that I had in my mom's basement, and I gave them to my son. Cause he's all about tapes. Yeah, he wants everything on every format. He's just as OCD as I am, if not worse. So he's collecting that. But one thing I found was my original Mobat. And outside of it be covering with a metric ton of dust, as you can see here. Let me see if I can focus on. It's all pretty much intact. Everything's fine. It even has a little gun that goes. A lot of times people lose this gun up front. It's not missing the gun. I have the gun. Everything works for the most part. Now, it doesn't have batteries in it, so luckily I didn't store it with batteries. But as you can see, though, there's no corrosion in there. It's clean. I don't see a lick of corrosion in there at all. And again, that's because if you don't store it with the batteries, it shouldn't corrode. So my goal here is I don't want to disassemble the thing, because I know these can be kind of a tricky And they can really be problematic if you start taking them apart, because especially Hasbro and these G.I. Joe vehicles were, you know, they didn't do the best of job. I mean, the engineering of them is weird. Let's just put it that way. Sometimes you're like, huh? But and the plastic can get pretty brittle. No, but again, this is one of the originals from the original, Mobat. So they seem to build things right off the bat pretty original. So I'm assuming it functions if I put 2D batteries in it. But for now, I'm not going to do that. I am just going to try to clean it. And I'm going to either do one of two things. I'm just going to simply just clean it. And again, I kind of would like to take it apart so that I don't get the motor wet or anything in the cleaning process, because I'd like to do a thorough, full strip down, clean it really good. And then I may or may not take off the decals. Now, it still has the decals. I don't think any of them are peeled off, except for this one's kind of getting a little bit, and like I said, the more you agitate it with some water and stuff, I'm sure it'll start. It's dirty too there under the sticker, so I'll probably end up pulling the stickers, because you can get repro stickers. And like I still have to put them on, but I got repro stickers for my Battle Ram. I know I can get repro stickers for this, and I didn't. Mine are crooked. I remember I'm sitting in the back of my dad's car as I ripped it out of the box as a kid, and I'm putting the decals on, sitting in the back seat, in a 79 AMC Eagle as we're hitting every bump on the road. So the stickers aren't on perfectly to begin with. There's some kind of schmutz down in the little can where the Steeler goes. That's the other thing. The action figure is long gone, so no more Steeler. But it's complete. Minus Steeler, it's complete, and it's in great shape. It's really dirty, and it just needs a solid cleaning. So, at some point here, I'm gonna clean this. I might try just to kind of get the top of it without getting water too much in to get into the insides. But I want to take the treads off and clean the wheels. I probably will end up disassembling most of it, and I think that the motor is permanently press fit to the bottom of the chassis here. So, and the chassis doesn't look dirty on the bottom. Obviously, it doesn't really see much the light of day. And the inside, I can't think to be too dirty. I mean, there might be a cobweb here or there. Maybe a little buddy living on the corner. But outside of that, I don't think that the inside would be too dirty. So I could probably just wipe it out pretty good. So I'll set that aside. And all the other loose parts that don't have electronics on it, I'm going to soak in some Dawn. Dawn seems to really work really well and really clean it good, and then obviously let it dry and stuff like that. And then I might even test out before I put it back together. I might test out, just make sure the wires are all intact and they're not, the soldering hasn't come undone. But other than that, it's a little project that I got to work on. I think this may be the only surviving G.I. Joe vehicle that I have. I know that I did have a Sky Striker and some other stuff, and a collecting case of figures and stuff that kind of went at various points in my life. I know I had a flood too in one house that took out some stuff. But this one, and the reason that I still have this, and I believe is I took this to my grandmother's house, and then when she passed away, I had this in the basement at my grandmother's house with other things, comic books, stuff like that. And my mom, when she cleaned out the house, after she passed away to get the house up just for sale, she took some of the stuff, and my stepdad, who is very into, he's a Vietnam vet, and I think he took this because it's an army tank and kept it. So that's probably what happened. And of course, he'll probably fight me if he ever finds out that I took it out of the basement. Hey, that was mine. It's like, why would you have a G.I. Joe Mobat from 1982? It's fine. Who else's would it be? So they'll do that at some point. I guess that's it for my haul, which isn't really much of a haul. I mean, I did get some other stuff, but you probably don't care about it. Some music albums, stuff like that. I did get, like I said, I've got a new hi-fi system coming for my stuff there. It's got record storage. My records kind of laid around a little bit. And I got some new headphones, some open-ear headphones. Again, I don't want to get super audiophile on you this quick. I'm going to easy in on the audiophile. But I got some open-ear headphones, which, so far I've only used them for, I listened to have a Regatta de Blanc over there, and it sounds amazing. But I'll have to do some more deep listening to it. Yeah. By the way, that reminds me, the story of Return of the Jedi, which I have, which you guys saw in the other video, they do have the story of Tron, and it's narrated by the exact same guy. So, and that one doesn't go for a lot of money. I'm going to try to track that down too as well. And I think I've even seen it already online for a sealed copy, just like the Return of the Jedi one. So I'm going to do the same thing with that one. But yeah, I picked up some other various things. I got a new gig bag, as it's flopping over there. New gig bag for my my classical, because I didn't have anything to carry it with when I got it, and I was going to take it with me this weekend somewhere, so I got a gig bag finally for that. Again, other things you don't really care about. So let's get back into stuff that you might care about. So the other thing that was going on, let's finish this up. I got about 10 minutes to talk about this, so maybe 15. I'm going to go into Toy Arc. Now, Toy Arc, I don't have it up. Let me pull it up. Toy Arc's where I go for like news on toy news, action figure news. It's pretty good. And they've obviously the San Diego Comic-Con is still in process of going on at the moment. Yeah, it's Sunday, but it's really Monday. But anyways, so a lot of things are going on, and I'm not going to go over a huge, everything that comes out of the San Diego Comic-Con video. I'm not going to do that. I just noticed when I was checking this, some things had come out that I kind of would like to comment on. One of the ones that I want to comment on is the Silverhawk. I don't really care to comment on this. I'm just going to mention it briefly. But yeah, supposedly now they got the vac metallized ones from Super 7, and apparently they couldn't do vac metallized, and now they did, and it's causing a little bit of a kerfuffle with some toy collectors online. I'm not going to get into that. I was going to get Steelheart. I was just going to get the regular one, so I thought, oh, maybe I'll get this one. But the thing is, I don't think I'm going to get any more Super Set. I've only got the 4, well, actually 5. I've got a Chitara. I don't think I'm going to get any Super 7 stuff. It's just too expensive. It's way too expensive. I don't care how good it is. I just can't. I can't put out that kind of money for that stuff. And it's kind of where I'm getting to. It's the stuff sits there on a shelf, sits in a case, hangs on a wall, still carded. I mean, sure, it's fun, and I like it, and I get the nostalgia, I get the memberries and all that stuff, and it does make me happy. However, I realized that's all it does. I think I'd rather have a book, something I can read, or look through, or whatever, enjoy in that regard, or I'd rather have an album, something I can listen to, something I can, when I buy it, it doesn't just go on a shelf and I never see it again. It's something that I can do something with, and it's got reuse, something on that regard. So, kind of transitioning out of the toys. I will show you one thing I did pre-order when I got back, because it came out, and you might even know what it is. But so I'm just going to make a couple of comments on the things that are coming out here, and here it is right here. So they did and I was assuming they were going to do this, and I hope they still do this with the Empire figures. But first thing off the bat, they came out with the 6 Jedi figures. Most, half of them were from the 83 line, half of them from the 84 line. That's fine. I really don't only want the 83 Jedi figures, but I'll take the 84 ones if I have to take them. And I kind of want to keep the set going, or keep this going of these, so I bought them. I guess I didn't have to buy those, but I bought them anyways because they're individual. But this one, obviously, you have to buy the whole box, and it's a good price. I mean, it's just price what they normally cost. I think they raised them a little bit. It's Hasbro. They're going to eventually raise it to where they're never going to sell this stuff. But, you know, and right off the bat, there's 2 figures on here I want very bad. One is the Gamorrean Guard, and one is the Emperor's Royal Guard. You know, I want those figures a lot. I'd have to say I'm going to pay $72.99 plus shipping for just those figures, but I almost will. And however, it does come with Akbar. Now I've got the vintage Akbar, but I want the, you know, the retro Akbar, and he's right there. That's fine. Wicked I had. It was one of the only 84 ones I had. You know, I didn't have a lot of those, and that's fine. I'll take Wicked. Yak Face. Why did they put Yak Face in there? Why did they? I mean, whatever. Why didn't they put? Like I said, they could have put Bib Fortuna in there. They could have put, you know, Klaatu in there. They could have, General Nadine would have been fine, you know, or Rebel Soldier. Why did they put that Yak Face in there? Again, I mean, he's part of the Power of the Force 1 with the coins, and I don't really have any interest to get him because I never had him. But fine again. I could sell that one on eBay probably pretty easily. I still want to go through the hassle of doing that. But the Mon Mothma, come on. It was never even a vintage figure. If you're going to release the Mon Mothma, and of course nobody's going to buy the Mon Mothma unless we sneak it in a box set, of course. Don't make it. You know, I don't have anything against Mon Mothma the character or whatever, but just like you're wasting 2 slots there. Well, I guess people would want Yak Face, so realistically you're wasting 1 slot. And a perfect figure, if you wanted a Rebel, why didn't you just give us General Nadine? I mean, he's not a great figure either, and he's a figure that nobody's going to buy. He's going to peg warm unless you sneak him into a box set. Why did they not put General Nadine in this box? It would have been a lot better than just, you know, coming up with a new figure of Mon Mothma. And I know there's a lot of people that love that. Oh, I love that they're making these figures they never did before. Guess you can't please everyone, but me personally, again, here I go again. This is not how I would have done it. And I'm disappointed that it isn't. So I will probably keep Yak Face, most likely. Mon Mothma, she's gone. If first person I find who wants to give me $10 for it, it's theirs. You know, I'm selling her as soon as I can get somebody who wants to buy it. Which is going to leave me a hole on my wall. But again, my wall doesn't. That's also arbitrary because I'm going to eventually open these figures to put in my Darth Vader case. Yeah. So I'm happy about this. And of course, I had to face palm twice and eye roll. If I could foot palm, I would foot palm too. I just got so, it's like, come on, Hasbro. It's like, how long did it take? How long did it take for you guys to screw something up? And this is how long it took. You know, luckily they got pretty far before they had to, you know, fumble the ball. But it's just like, of course they're gonna make this so hard to, you know, acquire all of the figures I had, and I'm gonna have to, you know, have to spend through the nose, and it's just like, oh my god, I just can't take it anymore. Obviously, I'm not buying vintage because vintage are gonna be way more expensive than this, and then, you know, so it is what it is. I pre-ordered it. It's supposed to be here in September 15th, I think, is when they said it, and I ordered it from Hasbro Pulse. So here I go again. I'm giving Hasbro money again, as though I don't want to. But I really want my Jedi figures back, and then I guess this is the price I gotta pay to do it. I mean, I gotta admit, it is a little fun to do the racing around trying to put this set back together, but at the same time, but the thing is, what also looms over my head and stresses me out about this is, at any time, which who knows what Hasbro is going to do, they're going to just stop making them. Oh no, we're just not going to continue the retro line. So you got us all on the hook this long, hoping that we're going to get all of our original figures back, and then arbitrarily just going to stop. And mark my words, they will. I'll get I'll get right near I'll see the finish line, and then Hasbro will come along and stick their foot out and down face first into my nose goes into the asphalt. You know, I could see it coming. Mark my words, I could see it coming. But it is what it is. So that's one thing I came back from my vacation to, is this. And again, I was gonna stop buying stuff, and but I did say to myself, if they continue the retro line, I will continue to buy the retro line. Like I said, He-Man's pretty much a done deal, with the occasion of the 2 vehicles, or 2.5 vehicles. Turtles, I may continue with Turtles, I'm not sure. Transformers, I'm definitely done, although they did come out with, one thing that did catch my eye, more than meets the eye, catch my eye, was, there's a Skywarp, and I think it's Shrapnel, one of the Insecticons, which also some of my favorites. And Skywarp is my favorite jet of the Decepticons, but they came out with the reissues of those in those weird boxes that don't have anything to do with. I don't know why this didn't come out with the original boxes. It's not like they can't do them. They just came out with reissues not that long ago. But they wanted to change the package design. But they came out with some reissues of Starscream. I didn't get the Starscream, but I would like to get the Skywarp. But again, I kind of want to hold off. The Transformers are expensive to begin with, and I just don't want to go down that rabbit hole. But G.I. Joe, for the most part, I believe is dead. I'm not going classified, retro, whatever. You know, so all of that stuff, I'm not overly concerned to keep going with either. So, like I said, my action figure spending, collecting is kind of coming to a close, and I'm moving more into other things, you know, immediately. Right now, for me, it's vinyl records. I'm going to keep going with that. I guess I'll close out one more thing if I can find it. Let's see, there we go, look at that. Yep, I want them. And let's look at the Gamora guard real quick. There he is. Oh, what's going on with the 2 different ones? I don't remember his eyes being so buggy, but yeah, I think they were. And there's some other Thrawn and blah blah blah. Mandalorian, I don't care. I did see the Ahsoka trailer. I guess I could do a video on that, but I guess I don't really have a lot to say about it. It looks okay, because they got the Ghost coming out, the HasLab. No Ewok Village are going to do the Ghost. Not to say they won't. I probably wouldn't HasLab. I'm not going to pay for that. I did notice that I think that's a really good looking Storm for the. I think it's a great looking Storm for the X-Men '97 cartoon toy lines coming out. I think this looks nice. I don't know if I'm going to get them. Probably. I'll see how the show is. The figures look fine. I'm not sure if I'm going to collect any of these figures. You know, I guess I wouldn't mind getting a Rogue. But I thought it's funny at the convention. They hot glued all these figures to the stands to keep them up. And just slathered it on. I guess they just didn't want it to fall off, because if you don't put enough glue on it, it will fall off. But yeah, that's a really nice Storm. I really love the Mohawk Storm. And then they got her white outfit. That's fine, because that's what she wears in the show. But again, that looks promising. Again, just the more we get into it, the more we'll see. West Coast Avengers box set. It's a cool cover. I like that they use. That's pretty slick. Although that's not the original cover. It's just a recreation of it but you know. I only really want the girls. I mean, I guess I would want him. I don't care about Pym. I guess I'd like the Silver Centurion, although he's not silver. But I just don't want to pay $128 for it. And I probably won't. The only other thing I saw, and again, they also showed the Street Fighter figures. They had a Cami out now too. I would like to also. I'd like to have all of these. I actually don't care what. I want the original Street Fighter 2 characters, so I could do without whoever this guy is, and I could do without the Bruce Lee guy. But everybody else, Guile, all the other guys, I would take. Again, they're $25 a piece, and they're over $100 for those. I just, don't want to spend the money. I don't want to spend all that money on that stuff. I don't care how cool it is. My cheapness. Let's just put it this way. I quit smoking about 10 years ago. And you know how I did it? I'm cheap. And when I walked in and I saw how much cigarettes cost, and I went, $8 a pack. I'm done. I'm not paying $8 a pack for a pack of cigarettes. No. I'm done. I'm cashing in my chips. I don't care how much withdrawal I have. I don't care how crazy it makes me. I don't care how many people smoke in my face and make me want to smoke again. I don't care how stressed I get out on something and have to start smoking again. I'm not paying that kind of money for cigarettes. And I haven't since. And the same thing's kind of going with the action figures. I ain't paying that kind of money for these things. So I don't care what kind of withdrawals I have. I'm not going to do it. So I wanted to find some about the Dungeons & Dragons figures, but I'll wait on those. But yeah, so I'm back from my vacation, back to posting normal. I'm going to post Monday through Friday again. I'm going to keep making videos. So everything's back on track, back to normal for the rest of the summer. So look forward to that if you're looking forward to these at all. Remember, subscribe. I think I'm still down to like 20% of the people viewing these videos are actual subscribed. It doesn't hurt. It just click the button. Just click it. Doesn't cost you a dime. So what? So what if you see my videos pop up in your recommendations every 5 seconds? Is that the end of the world? You're going to help me out if you do it, so just click it. Like the video. If you like it, just hit the like. How hard is that? Just hit it. It's not that difficult. I don't want to browbeat anybody or call anybody out, but I'm calling you out. Just hit it. It doesn't take. Yeah, it's not like you're not signing up to my OnlyFans account for $50 gazillion. You're not giving me $10 a month on Patreon, right? You're just hitting a button, and it helps me. So, I'd like you to do that. If you don't want to, can't make you. So, other than that, I'll catch you on the next video. Don't know what I'm going to do. Figure it out when I come there. That's how I always work. Everything's all loosey-goosey. But I will catch yous on the next video. Alright, bye-bye.